We are just coming out of a pandemic that continues to affect the people that we serve in ways that compound the already exacerbated energy burden on those families. And so as we approach a conference that's in New Orleans, we know that we have a focus on natural disasters and also on resiliency in the people who we serve. So we'll be focusing on those things, plus energy equity, an eye towards cooling and the necessity that cooling is an energy and a life critical resource and not just something that people would like to have. That'll be a focus of the conference this year. Increasingly, those are issues that we're concerned with in the energy affordability side of things. Thinking about COVID and people working from home, children going to school from home, there were special considerations during the pandemic, and the utilities did work with us on finding ways to extend payment programs and work with their local nonprofits to make sure that their customers were aware of the assistance that was available to them. But these are things that we continue to do as we look at, the newest crisis is inflation and the unaffordability of basic household needs that exacerbates again the need for energy and folks' ability to pay. So we haven't gathered together in almost 3 years as a network. We've been doing this virtually for a while, and I think that the record attendance that we're seeing in our conference is largely related to the fact that it feels like we've been holding our breath for almost 3 years, and there's all this information that we have to impart. We've learned a lot of lessons during the pandemic. We have more to learn from each other, and these programs are winding down now. The historic levels of funding that we've seen in the federal LIHEAP program are winding down, and we have to look at what comes next and how we're going to continue to serve needs and address crises in the future when this funding goes away. It's been an interesting couple of years as we've progressed through COVID, and what we've seen is that the value of an organization like Neuac was really brought into focus in this time of crisis that we were in, when utilities and nonprofits and grassroots partners already had existing strong relationships. And that's something that we help them promote and connect with those folks at their level through Neuac. Then programming ran more smoothly. And when there were not existing relationships and they had to be built from the ground up, we found that it was more of a struggle for both utilities, the customers they served, and the community organizations to implement effective programming. So those connections are important. And I think that, that reality has set in, and people with that realization are wanting to learn from their partners. So we're bringing together utilities, trade organizations, national partners, as well as local and utility-sponsored fuel funds. All of these are folks who don't necessarily agree on every topic that we will discuss at Neuac. We definitely have differences in opinions on things like electrification, beneficial electrification, and on natural gas bans, and on implementation of low-income solar. All of these are things that just because we disagree doesn't mean that we don't talk about these things. That's what the Neuac conference does. That's special. I feel like we are fearless in discussing topics that are tough, and at least providing a forum for discussion for everyone to be heard and understand one another. And at the end of the day, we all come back together on the idea that we want energy to be affordable for our communities and our customers. Those are the things that we have in common. So we drive it home from there.